State's greatest nut job in history, Matt Mensen, is out for the count in this episode, as he is on his way to the AutoZone Liberty Bowl in Memphis, Tennessee. He travels there with two of our front row crew members on his quest to brave the Memphis home crowd because they have a home crowd for a bowl game for some reason. I mean, Matt has a history of single-handedly outnumbering opposing crowds on the road and succeeding. Coming from last year's NCAA volleyball victory against Florida Gulf Coast to this year's volleyball win against the team out east. This is nothing new for him, and they won't be alone. The rest of Cyclone Nation will be doing what they do best, show up in full force, and they start at the time of recording this in downtown Memphis for our all-day pep rally, and then they rally behind the team that's going to deprive the Tigers of another home bowl victory. Today is December 28th, our last podcast of 2023. I'm Blake Petersen, and welcome to the Cornfield Sports Pod. As you may have heard, Matt is out for the count in this episode because obviously he's going bowling with the Cyclones, which will take place tomorrow at the time of recording this. But for now, we have our amazing producer, Vinnie Cataldo. Vinnie, how you doing?
Doing good, Blake. How you doing today?
Absolutely fine.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to get into this stuff, so let's get right into it, baby.
Me too. We got football to look forward to. So we got a couple bumps along the road, but we'll save the elephant in the room for just a second. But one thing is per Cyclone Fanatic. Thanks, guys. So Coach Campbell shared that Malik Verdon is questionable for tomorrow's game, but he has been practicing. Now for the elephant in the room, TJ Tampa.
Ouch.
Yeah.
This one hurts. This one really hurts.
Yeah. TJ Tampa has officially opted out of the game for him to focus on the NFL draft, which will officially end his ISU career. Now,
Wow. I can't believe. I can understand that he probably wants to focus on the NFL draft, but like this is your last bowl game. Like
hmm
just go out with them, man. Just go like end it on a strong note. Try to get that bowl win. I mean, like that's like the
hmm
biggest thing that he can do right now and you know, I mean, it's his decision, but as a fan, like, come on, Tamp, you have to get in there and play just one last game for your college career.
yeah, and I'm right there with you because 2 years ago we did experience this with Brees Hall as well, and losing Brees Hall a couple of years ago was definitely a hit in the Cheez-It Bowl, but like this year again, it's like as a fan, it's irritating, but we're not flat out mad at him. Like we're still going to support him, like we still do with Brees Hall. We're not mad at him now. I mean, he's thriving in the NFL. So, but outside of that, Coach Heacock does seem to be pretty confident in the lineup to fill in for Tampa. So this is a quote from provided by the Des Moines Register from Heacock. We've got Jontez Williams, Darian Porter, and Blake Thompson down there. We'll keep repping those guys. It's really been like that all year, and it doesn't change anything. End quote. So I think he's going to start repping the lineup. So we'll see what they're made of.
Yep. I mean, like he says, they have people in there to fill him. So I feel like this wasn't like a last minute decision. It was kind of like a one that was like coming. Like it's been a long time coming. So I feel like
Mm,
Heacock knew this was gonna come. So that's why he brought in like Williams, Porter, and Thompson, like to make like in chance that this happened that he brought him in for that.
oh yeah, because I'm sure TJ is like done some communication with his coaches, and so it's like, hey, I might be focusing on this. So any chance you guys can be prepared for this?
Yeah.
So and like assuming he did that, that's very great. That's very great for him to do that. So, but nonetheless, we'll be hopeful for tomorrow. Now, Memphis players to watch. This one was brought to you by Rob from Cyclone Fanatic. Thank you guys. So first off, we have running back Blake Watson. Now, he especially contributed 45% of the team's carries this season.
That's that's a lot, especially for just
Hmm.
one guy. 45%.
Oh
That's
yeah.
he's a guy to watch.
Hmm. And one of the main contributors to like all their wins. So, quarterback Seth Hennigan. So he's been a 3-year starter, and he did contribute to a really dominant second half to Memphis this season.
Yeah, yeah, that is he like many of the guys who we talked about. He's going to be somebody to watch. I don't know how our defense is going to hold up. Um, from the past, what I've seen, we do have a decent quarterback defense and a wide receiver defense, but it's all going to come up to just game time.
Hmm. And like everyone says that anything could happen.
Yeah,
So now this is another elephant in the room. Former Cyclone wide receiver Joseph Skates. Now he did declare for the NFL draft, but he does still plan to play for the Liberty Bowl. But he did have a recent uh, dominant performance in Memphis's blowout win against Temple.
he's going to look to do something strong against his former team, but I think he's doing what Tampa should be doing.
Hmm.
Declaring for the draft, but still playing because this is probably the last chance you're going to get to play collegiate football in a bowl game. So go out with the team and just finish it. That's what I
Yeah,
feel like Tampa should do.
and you got to understand why they do it is like try to prevent injuries and all that, and like try to stay healthy. Which yeah,
So let's get. I want to get on to a big question that I want to ask you. If TJ Tampa were to go to the NFL, who do you think he could actually sign with?
oh nah, there's too many teams to come to mind.
Yeah,
I hear Broncos might need some people.
they really do. They really
I
do.
mean, I mean my Broncos. I'll take what I can get.
Yeah, maybe I.
Uh,
Who knows? Maybe he might stay Midwest and probably play for like one of the Midwest teams.
that definitely pulls some Cyclone people like to
Yeah,
some NFL games.
or
Oh,
he might pull the
100%.
He might pull the Brees Hall way and just go to like a team in the Northeast.
Hmm. And Cyclones will still show up to that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But Iowa State,
But
63% of winning with a 4.5 point favor. That will be interesting.
it will be interesting. We had Iowa State winning on all of our bowl picks, I
Hey,
believe.
we're not biased. We're not biased.
We weren't biased like that entire bowl pickums. So,
Right. But now we'll move on to men's basketball. A win against Eastern Illinois, 80-48. You want to go into some stuff about that?
yeah, sure, man. So Curtis Jones off the bench for that game scored 18 off the bench, leading the Cyclones. We also got Milan Momcilovic, Robert Jones, and Taman Lipsey. They all scored 16, so dominant performances. Uh, so this week especially, once again left out the top 25. Guys, come on.
But despite high net ranking,
We're high in the net rankings, but we need them votes. Come on, man.
yeah, right. It's like, what are they doing to us?
I don't know. It's like, oh, they got a bunch of new players. Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry that we didn't play as good at Disney World.
Happiest place on earth, but sometimes it just isn't that happy when you don't play well.
Uh, I blame the auditorium that we played in at the time. It looked a little outdated.
Yep. Yep.
But other than that, on Sunday we will go up against a sold. No, I worded that wrong. On Sunday we'll go up against New Hampshire on New Year's Eve in a sold-out Hilton Coliseum.
Sold out Hilton Coliseum on New Year's Eve. That is going to be a great game to watch.
Hmm. And as far as I know, great weather. Nothing else going on except for New Year's
which
Uh,
is really surprising to have good weather in the end of December to the beginning of January in Iowa.
oh yeah.
Like I have not seen any snow on the ground at all
Mm.
this year, which is insane to think about in Iowa.
Yeah, the other day, but yeah, well, kind of melted. But I guess that doesn't count. So yeah, I mean, kind of perfect way to take on New Year's. I mean, cyclone basketball, and then go on to New Year's festivities.
Right,
Whatever we
right.
got planned. Games at noon, so perfect timing. So, uh, New Hampshire's coming into this one 8-4 with wins against uh, well, I
Uh,
don't know.
who?
Well, they're kind of nobodies.
Yeah,
So
yeah. But first conference game on January 6th against Oklahoma. That'll be a good game.
yep, they'll be going on the road against Oklahoma. So their first conference game, they're gonna get another taste of the opposing crowd.
Yep.
Uh, their only other one was DePaul, I think. They haven't had the most experience like on the road yet, so
Right.
that kind of has me a little worrisome. Speaking from last year as well, because we didn't really perform the best on the road,
Yeah,
so
it happens.
it does happen. But new squad, we'll see what they're made of.
Yeah, but now let's get into women's basketball.
Women's basketball, let's go. Uh, last week we had a game against UNI. Uh, won that one 87-70. Uh, that game I was gracious enough to bring some UNI Panther friends into Hilton. I don't think Matt was
Bring them
very
into
happy.
your home, baby. Bring them into your
I
home.
know. I don't think Matt was very happy about that.
No, I don't think so either. I think by the sound of Matt and knowing who he is, he wasn't happy.
Oh no. And then the stuff that's Brady Miller and someone else I brought from my hometown. So Brady Miller and them like were doing their usual chants. I swear, if
It always
I swear,
feels so weird when like away teams will like do their chants against like the home crowd. It doesn't it feels so weird. It's like you guys are trying and it's not working.
mm, you'd be surprised. Last year we went to women's basketball against UNI in Cedar Falls, and Cyclones did turn out pretty well up there. So much, in fact, that me, and Kale were able to do a Cyclone Power there. We did get that a few times. We were dominant in free throw distractions too.
Yeah.
So you'd be surprised. Uh, but enough about UNI fandom. We do love UNI, but except for that one, of course. But Audie Crooks and Kelsey Jones, powerhouse freshmen, led with 16 points. Emily Ryan did come and play 16 minutes. So very
16
happy.
minutes. Wow.
Yeah, happy to see her back out there because of her mystery illness
That's
injury.
like that's almost Caitlin Clark time.
Almost
That's
Caitlin Clark time.
that's a lot of time to play. Like that's insane. But most of the time Caitlin Clark plays the whole game, so
I know.
which is even funny because when she was at my high school, like
Oh my.
all of our state games, she would always play the entire game because the coach had just like no faith in any of the other players.
Yeah, and literally, it's like Caitlin Clark. Like whenever she's benched, it's like, oh, get me back out there, get me back out there. I'm like, bro, you do not make that decision. That is the coach's decision. Sit down.
Yeah, and clearly the coach is like, Caitlin, you've had enough. You don't have to play the whole game.
I know.
Anyway, enough about
Uh,
Caitlin. The 2 days they will be playing Oklahoma State at Oklahoma State, mind you.
almost. Hmm.
In the first game of
So,
conference play too, which is gonna be awesome.
so Okie State will come in with losses against two ranked opponents. So we'll watch out for those. But uh, we'll so they'll come in a little bit battle tested, as have we. So after that, next Wednesday against Kansas at home, they'll come in against losses against like UConn and Virginia Tech. So UConn is pretty powerhouse, and I think Kansas kept it decently close.
I think they did too.
Yeah,
So
it's the Big 12. They're gonna come in. They're gonna come in
yeah,
with
I get
with
it.
with some quality losses.
Hmm.
So
But am I? I don't feel any wind. Is there no heights? I don't. Is there not a wind today? Wind? Where is that?
there's no wins. There's no
There's,
win. There's
there's
no high
no
speed wins.
there's no high speed winds today. Oh
I mean,
man.
I guess you could throw out gymnastics. Gymnastics do start their season next Friday, which will also be Ashley Miles Gree coaching debut.
Wow. Good
Yep,
for good. So
yep.
it'll
I'll
be
be there for that.
that'll be fun to watch. The coaching debut.
Hmm.
That'll be interesting. I'm excited to see that.
Dude, we're all excited. They go up against Nebraska, so
It's
we'll
Nebraska.
see. So we'll see if we can do. I'm ex-
Unless you're Gus, then you're the only Nebraska fan that's actually
no, no. The only Nebraska fan on campus.
the only Nebraska fan on campus. But enough about
Gus.
collegiate. Enough about collegiate. We have to get into the big leagues.
Yes, sir.
And what better way to start with the NFL?
So Vikings on Christmas Eve lost to the Lions 30-24. I honestly thought Lions would find a way to lose.
I mean, who wouldn't? It's the Detroit Lions. They always find a way to lose. But but I guess the Vikings are the new Lions because they find a way to lose.
I feel like there's a number of teams in the NFL that just find a way when they're ahead, but they were ahead for the longest time.
But in all
This game.
honesty, the game kind of sucked.
I know.
It really did. For four Viking turnovers, completely blew all their chances.
No. No.
Yeah, I get it. But with that win by the Lions, they got the NFC North.
Which did we think we'd see that?
No, never in my life did I think I would see the Detroit Lions taking the NFC North.
It's like the beginning of the season. It's like, they're not getting that.
It's like that meme of like the pirate who's like, well, yes, but actually no. It's like you really think that you're gonna actually clinch the you think you're actually gonna clinch the NFC? Well, yes, but actually no.
Yeah, it's been like that. But
Yeah,
NFL this season has been a wild ride.
it has been.
So
But the Vikings will get another game against the Green Bay Packers this week. Be interesting
that
to
one's
watch.
gonna be a close one.
Oh yeah.
With the border rivalry.
Yeah, really. A -2 from Minnesota. Wow, you have to be ready for this one.
And keeping it with the Bears. They recently had a win against the Cardinals, 27-16. Okay, so do we have to keep going over me and Matt's NFL standard of bad?
Yeah, we do.
Because Cardinals losing to the Bears. Oh, come on. Cardinals, you could do better than that, man.
I mean, when you lose against the Bears, that's where the
Come on.
problem is. Like, and to lose 27-16 to the Bears, like, that's a problem. That's a big problem.
If Russell Wilson's Broncos can beat the Bears.
Yeah. If Russell Wilson of all quarterbacks can beat the Bears, why couldn't Kyler Murray and everybody else on the team do it?
Cardinals, do better. I mean, you're up there with the Panthers. Do better. But
Right.
then again, I wouldn't say it's an impressive win, but would you say it's an impressive win for the Bears standard?
No. No.
Well, I'm kind of on the fence on that. But
It's the Bears. I mean, no. I mean, a win could probably be impressive. Like if they beat, I don't know, like it's who's like the top, who's like a top team right now? Like jeez, just Mahomes maybe being the Mahomes and the Chiefs. I mean,
I know,
or
but
being the Eagles. Like if the Bears beat the Eagles,
yeah,
like if that would be
that
impressive because you beat actually a
that
decent team.
that would be unheard of.
I mean,
But
well the
part,
Jets
hmm
beat the Eagles, so I mean nothing's out of the
oh yeah,
realm of possibility there.
it's not. But Cardinals, you kept me from making fun of the Bears. Thank you.
Yes. But
But
the Bears will have other problems as they go up against the Falcons this week.
I
Which,
haven't heard. I haven't heard too much light on the Falcons, honestly, this season.
just because they have Bijan Robinson, who's actually like being impressive right now, that doesn't mean that Falcons have anything else.
I know. But going back to the Packers recently had a win against the Panthers, barely,
Barely.
33-30. So I want to get my message. I want to get my message to the Packers fan base because we see people saying that Jordan Love is better than Brock Purdy after Brock Purdy's uh, recent game.
Yeah.
So Purdy has one bad game, one,
And is
and
immediately hated.
he's immediately hated. Has had a dominant NFL season, dominant NFL comeback season, and Jordan Love barely wins against the worst team in the NFL, and has many other losses to contribute to that. Make it
Yeah.
make sense. My math isn't mathing at the moment. But
Neither's mine.
so to those Packers fans, shut up, shut up. Thank you.
But then again, this was the Packers game pretty much the entire time.
Oh, any game can be their game against the Panthers, but this was very evenly matched, stats wise. I mean, yards were split, possession time was split. Surprisingly, no turnovers.
Which makes
So
sense why this was a really close game.
mm,
And a very like big scoring game too, which was actually pretty cool to watch.
for both teams,
Pretty much.
I'd say for both teams.
Yeah.
But coming back to upcoming game against the Vikings, we already went over this, so we're good on that. Still going to be a fun game to watch.
Yeah.
So now I get to make fun of Matt's team.
Mm-hmm.
On Christmas, they lost to the Raiders 20-14. Very sloppy game for the Chiefs. My family jumped on the name Pouty Mahomes.
Pouty Mahomes. Wow, I love it.
Honestly, I love it too. Matt, maybe not so much, but he's not here. Haha.
We can make fun of it
But
all we want.
yeah, this game, Patrick was definitely not at his best. Neither was a lot of the bigger name players.
Travis Kelce not there. Ivan Pacheco again getting injured. And then having Edwards-Helaire come in it's good, but he needs better, man. And then they keep relying on Pacheco to come back, so I don't think they're giving much of a time to Edwards-Helaire to get him to get the practice in because they keep thinking, oh, Pacheco's gonna come back, you don't have to play. But then Pacheco gets injured and shit hits the fan.
But yeah.
That's just what I look at.
You did mention Travis Kelce too. Travis was pretty angry on the sidelines. Got some TV coverage on there, unfortunately. He threw his helmet too. Someone actually found his helmet, and then Coach Reed came up and said like, "Nope, give me that. I'm gonna have a talk with him." So obviously, to the frustrated Kelce, he said, Reed actually gave him sort of a pep talk too. I didn't see a lot of chewing out Kelce,
Yeah. I mean,
but
everybody's been chewing him out since he started dating Taylor.
oh, yeah,
So, and I find it hilarious. Everybody's like, if he breaks up with her, then he's gonna be no good than all those other people, and she's gonna write an amazing album about dating a football guy and how much it broke her heart. And I'm like,
No,
do you think that's gonna tarnish the Chiefs' legacy?
no.
No, like no matter what, Travis Kelsey is not that good of a player. No matter if he's dating Taylor, if he's dating Rihanna, if he's dating Ariana Grande, no matter what, Travis Kelsey is not a good tight end.
You think so?
No,
Because
Travis Kelsey is just not that good. Like even the games that Taylor Swift wasn't there, he played like shit.
nah, Matt's gonna have a word with you when he
Oh,
gets back.
he could have a word with me. I will just say it out loud for everybody that Travis Kelsey is just not a good tight end. Even my dad has realized that playing with Travis Kelsey, no matter what time it is, will always lead to his downfall.
Oh no. But yeah.
Anyway, enough about me rambling.
But I wish I could be on board with that with you. I wish I could. But he's getting decent playing time.
Yeah.
But I wonder if Taylor Swift is. I wonder if he's getting pulled back because of Taylor Swift. But
Well, Andy Reid
But-
knows that all the money that the Chiefs get comes from Taylor Swift.
we'll leave that speculation up to you guys. So after this Christmas matchup, they have game against the Bengals.
And they're really the
Casey.
team to figure to win.
Yeah, yeah. KC is -7. I think this is a good bounce back game for the Chiefs. Get them their 10 wins and stay on top of the AFC West. So
Yep. Well, that's going to do it for the NFL. Now we'll move on to the NBA. We'll start off with the Minnesota Timberwolves. In the previous week, they had a win against the Kings in Sacramento, 110-98. 85% on their free throws is pretty good. The only thing that's not good but not bad is 50% on the field goal line. Now, when you're talking basketball, field goals are the important thing that helps you. But having only half of it, it's, like I said, not good, but it's not bad either. Just work on it. But Anthony Edwards for the Timberwolves having a decent game with 34 points, leading his team. I think that he's going to be a top player for them. Then we move on to when they played in Oklahoma City against the Thunder. They took a loss on that, 106-129. Only the bad thing was on this game, they've dropped in their field goal percentage. They were 34 for 73 on field goals, which is 46%. That is really, really not good. They have got to step up their game. The biggest thing also was 21 turnovers. Now that is sad. Really sad. And then Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with 34 points for Oklahoma City. That is huge for him. I think that's amazing. And Anthony Edwards coming in strong again for Minnesota with 25 points. It's dropped a little bit, but he's still putting up some decent points. So look for him. And then in the coming day, they have they'll go to play the Mavericks in Dallas.
the Mavericks.
Yes.
I do have the Mavericks score.
Oh, you
Mavericks
do?
score just coming in because we're recording late.
Woo, woo, woo.
So-
We have an update.
So Minnesota did take the win, 118-110 against Dallas Mavericks.
Interesting. Awesome. Well,
So
Dallas
did end
Mavericks getting that, not taking the loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Good on Minnesota.
Yeah, did end up being a close game.
Damn, wow. That was awesome.
Wolves had a dominant third quarter, especially, and then a little bit of a low-scoring fourth quarter for both teams. So,
But, hey, win nonetheless for them.
Mhm.
So, upcoming,
So-
they will be playing in Los Angeles against the Lakers. Afterwards, no, scratch that. They will be in Minnesota. Scratch that. Reverse it. They will be in Minnesota against the Los Angeles Lakers, and then they will be traveling to New York to face the New York Knicks. Afterwards, they will travel back to Minnesota for another game against the Pelicans, which will be interesting games. Then we'll move on to up north a little bit to Milwaukee, and we will be talking about their games against both games against the Knicks that they've had. So, biggest one, the first game they had against the Knicks, they took the W 130 to 111, which is pretty good win. Giannis Antetokounmpo, however you say that guy's name, you can talk about in the comments. He's leading the team.
I don't want to attempt that.
Yeah, you can talk about it in the comments. He's leading the team in that game with 28 points. That is awesome. But the biggest thing that kind of brought down the Bucks was the Knicks were 95% from the free throw line. That is impressive.
It's hard to beat that.
No, yeah, that's like we talk about Caitlin Clark a little bit. That's Caitlin Clark numbers. Like she puts up those.
If games are close, then it's going to come down to that, and it's going to be tough to beat like 95%.
Yeah, really. But the biggest problem for the Bucks was the 50% from 3 points. 3 points are going to win you the game, and only going half of it is not going to help you. You got to practice. So we'll move on. Again, they played the Knicks. This time they took an L, but it was a close game, 129 to 122. This was the Christmas Day game, which must have been fun. Families gathering around, opening presents, having some good basketball in the background.
Yes, sir.
Unfortunately, our family is not like that. We turn off sports the entire day.
Come on, man.
I know.
You can't be doing that.
I know, man. It sucks. But Damian Lillard and Giannis, both with 32 points. Pretty good on their part. Only problem was they've dropped a lot in 3 points. They only had 31% of 3-pointers. That is very low and needs a lot of work.
Because those 3-pointers are going to help big time.
They are. But traveling to the other part of New York, they faced off against the Nets, had a dominant win, 144 to 122. Those are big numbers in the NBA. And Chris Middleton, 28 points, pretty good on his part. You're not seeing Giannis up there, so I guess that Chris is going to be the new best player for the Milwaukee Bucks. Who knows? But upcoming, they will be playing in Cleveland against the Cavaliers. Then we'll be traveling back to Milwaukee to face the Indiana Pacers. And then we'll go on a road trip to Indiana to face the Indiana Pacers. And then we'll travel down to the great state of Texas to play the San Antonio Spurs. Then we'll talk about the only good Chicago team so far playing, the Chicago Bulls. The previous week, they faced off against Cleveland, took a loss there to 109 to 90, just 95. Nikolai Vucevic, 20 points on the day. It's not bad, but it's not great either. So he's got to do some work.
It was a little bit of a low scoring for the Bulls.
Yeah, so, which is ouch. It's tough to talk about. 22% from 3-pointers. That's an ouch.
It's very much an ouch. Come on, man.
You're 1/4 from 3. Like that, you have to work on that. The only thing that they did get good on was 89% from the free throw line. Pretty good there. I mean,
that was pretty good there, but it's not enough.
No, not enough. They had a win against the Hawks, 118 to 113. Nothing really to talk about there. Close game. Nothing really to talk about.
Except for a close game.
Yeah. And just recently, they faced off against Indiana Pacers. Took a loss there, 120 to 104. And upcoming stint for them, they will be playing off against the Sixers in Chicago. Then we'll be traveling to play the Sixers. And then we'll be traveling to New York to play the Knicks, which will be fun to watch.
Tyrese Haliburton against the Pacers. Just gonna take a little detour, but Tyrese Haliburton did get some Iowa State love from the Pacers social media people.
He did.
So
that was fun to watch.
Give us some Iowa State love.
Give it to us. Come on. But let's move on to the big leagues of the NHL. Start off with
Vinny's favorites.
My favorite. We'll start off with the Minnesota Wild. The previous week they had wins against the Bruins and the Red Wings.
So for the Wild, Kirill Kaprizov,
Kap-
that's how you say it.
Kaprizov.
Uh, Kaprizov, he'll extend his goal scoring streak to 4 games. Uh, so with this one, Wild will stay 11-3 since John Hayes took over behind the bench, which does include a 7 straight home wins.
Do you think this was for the best that they fired their old coach?
Oh yes,
Absolutely. And
it's
yeah,
so far it's turning out to be that.
yeah. And staying seventh in the Central Division is huge. But
But
I mean, it's not huge. They should back there. It's not huge, but there's still time for you to make it up. Especially if they're going this good with their new coach, it's
oh yeah,
definitely going to get better.
yeah. Other teams are scared.
Yep. Upcoming though, they will be facing off in Winnipeg against the Winnipeg Jets. Then we'll be going to Minnesota for 3 straight home games against the Winnipeg Jets, Calgary Flames, and the Tampa Bay Lightning. 2 Canadian teams and 1 American team. I think it's going to be fun to watch.
To the home game day staff people for the Minnesota Wild. I feel for you. I
Yeah,
feel for you.
I
I
bet.
got to I got to work in Hilton, and I've had to work in baseball all summer. So I feel for you.
Yeah, that must have sucked. But let's get to the worst Chicago team, Chicago Blackhawks.
Blackhawks. Oh boy, yeah. You take it away. Yeah,
All right.
you do better explaining.
So, first one, they had a loss to Canadians 5-2. Blackhawks led 2-0 in the second, and it just went downhill from there. Peter Mrazek, 5 unanswered goals. But the defense didn't show up either. And that's the biggest thing. That reminds me when Fleury played. Fleury was an amazing goaltender, but the defense just wasn't there and he couldn't make the stops. So you can blame the goalie all you want, but a lot of it comes down to your defense. And if you don't have a defense, you're not gonna get the wins. But then they faced off against the St. Louis Blues with a loss 7-5. Before we get into the bad, let's talk about the good. Bedard with the Michigan goal, which
Bedard.
is very unheard of, especially from a rookie. But the way he did it was brilliant. But let's get to the bad. Hawks had a 5-2 lead with 12 minutes left in the third period. Gave up 5 unanswered goals.
How do you do that?
Soderblom, you should feel embarrassed. With Mrazek, it's different. He gave up 5 goals in 2 periods. You gave up 5 goals in 12 minutes.
No. Straight to jail.
You give up 5 goals in 12 minutes. This one it's tough to fall on the defense, but a lot of it can fall on you. You have all the chances in the world to make the best stops, and you aren't even getting close. Like this, you should just feel embarrassed. But to cap it off, we did have a win against the Jets in OT 2-1. But
Oh boy, an overtime win.
hey, a win's a win. But Bedard is helping us out with both goals. And he's really, really, really keeping that Rookie of the Year hopes alive.
Do you think he'll get it?
Oh, absolutely. Are you kidding me?
Hmm.
He's putting up almost a point every game in Chicago. So anything can happen. I feel like everybody has their eyes set on him. Like you look on ESPN, that's who they're talking about pretty much all the time. Connor Bedard. And keep in mind, the kid's only 18.
Oh boy.
Yeah, 18. And he's already doing this impressive stuff. Trust me, he's getting that Rookie of the Year for sure.
Oh yeah.
Peter Mrazek, though, was in net for the game. He was making some great saves. But it's completely like night and day of like, what the hell happened in the game against Montreal versus the game now? Like he's making all these impressive saves. So why didn't he do it in the game against Montreal? But then you remember, Chicago actually came with defense. So But at the end of the game, after Bedard scored the OT goal, he was interviewed and has started calling Chicago his home. But I don't think you want to stay, bud. The way things are
No.
going, they're only going to get worse. So, in my opinion, it's best to start looking for different options. Yeah. But biggest thing coming up is a long road trip. Blackhawks will be playing against the Stars for a 2-game-in-a-row stint. Afterwards, they'll travel to Nashville to play against the Nashville Predators, capping off in New York against the New York Rangers, the team who acquired Patrick Kane last year from them. It's pain.
Battlehawks are going to be spending lots of gas money.
Oh, yeah. They better hope those the ticket sales are pretty good. Yeah. So now we'll talk about the St. Louis Blues. In the previous week, they had a win against the Blackhawks 7-5. They had a big comeback from being down 2-5 in the last 12 minutes of the game, which is pretty good for them. Biggest thing to look at was they more than doubled the shots on goal, capping off 42-20 over Chicago. And Jordan Binnington playing very, very strong in that game after letting in 5 goals, because afterwards he didn't let in anything else. He was a tough goalie.
No.
Then they had a win against the Stars 2-1. And I don't.
Then again, with the Blackhawks, you did make Vinny cry.
Just a little bit. I was at this new place on Jordan Creek, so I couldn't cry. But let's just say some words were said. Some naughty words. I may have to go to church and reconciliation. But a win against the Stars 2-1. Nothing really to say about that game. It was a pretty close game. Upcoming, they are going to be keeping in St. Louis against the Colorado Avalanche. Then are heading out to a road trip to go to Pittsburgh to play against the Penguins. And we'll cap back in St. Louis against the very good, very surprising Vancouver Canucks. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Blues then.
So, but other than that, anything else, Vinny?
I think we've touched on everything.
I think we've touched on everything. That'll do it for this episode. Sorry to leave you Matt Mensen less for this episode, but follow the Cornfield Sports Pod on Twitter at @CSportsPod. You can find me at Plague Attack 1846. You can find Matt Mensen at The Mensen Minute. You can find Vinny.
You can find me at Vinacious D23. Think about the band Tenacious D. It's just Vinacious D, and then just my age 23.
You guys can tap that follow button on Spotify or that plus button on Apple. You can subscribe to subscribe to YouTube. I can't talk. Subscribe to YouTube and Rumble.
This has been Vinnie Cataldo.
And I'm Blake Petersen. And this has been the Cornfield Sports Pod.